Hello everyone! Today my presentation is going to be on Viktor Kosenko and particularly on his piano cycle 11 Etudes in the form of all dances. Viktor Kosenko was a Ukrainian pianist, teacher and a composer in the Soviet Union. His compositional output includes works for violin, cello, piano, chamber works and music for film and theater. On this slide, I included some of his bigger works. You can see he wrote violin concerto, 3 piano sonatas, piano concerto, and here I also included one of his chamber works. Despite Kosenko's importance in his home country, Kosenko's fame as a composer is limited outside of Ukraine, and his music is not widely performed. Therefore, first I would like to give you a brief biographical background on Kosenko. He was born in 1896 in St. Petersburg, Russia. Due to historical and personal circumstances, he had to adapt living in different cities such as Warsaw, Kiev, Moscow, Zhytomyr. Most of his childhood he spent in Warsaw. His parents moved from St. Petersburg when he was only 3 years old. But in 1914, Kosenko came back to St. Petersburg to study at St. Petersburg Conservatory for composition and piano performance. At St. Petersburg Conservatory, his piano teacher was Russian pianist Irina Mikhalshovskaya and composition teacher was Mikhail Sokolov, who himself was a student of Rimsky-Korsakov. Kosenko's source of income when he was a student came from him being an accompanist at Mariinsky Theater. Kosenko graduated in 1918 and moved to Zhytomyr, Ukraine. In Zhytomyr, his performing career significantly developed. He gave concerts with violinists, cellists, singers, and he also had the opportunity to perform his own piano works. In 1924, Kosenko decided to move to Moscow. Moscow is a bigger city, provided for him more professional opportunities. In Moscow, he had another possibility to play his own compositions, but this time not only solo works, but chamber works as well. His compositions were published for the first time in Moscow in the late 1920s. In 1929, Kosenko was invited to teach at the Lysenko Institute of Music and Drama in Kiev, and also at the Kiev Conservatory. Therefore, he moved from Moscow to Kiev. The same year, he got married to Angelina Kanep, who really supported his musical career. Due to the Soviet regime, at the end of his life, Kosenko had limited possibilities to work freely. By 1935, his compositions were extracted from publication, and as a piano player, he also could not perform for large audience. But despite Soviet government persecution, before his death, Kosenko received the Order of the Red Banner, the Soviet award by Khrushchev. Kosenko died in 1938 due to kidney cancer. Now I would like to talk about his piano cycle 11 Etudes in the form of all dances. This cycle was written between 1927 and 1929. The innovative aspect of this work is that at the same time these pieces are etudes and dances. These etudes are concert etudes similar to Liszt's etudes and also Rachmaninoff's etudes tableau. Kosenko's etudes are lyrical and expressive and harmonically interesting. These etudes are appealing as a concert pieces, but also technically challenging. The technical challenges of these etudes include scales in parallel and contrary motion, octaves, arpeggios, widely spread chords, trills and melismas, parallel thirds and sixths, and many other. The cycle consists of common dances such as alimanda, sarabanda, curanta, jig, and also optional dances such as bourrée, rigadon, gavotte. Also, there is passacaglia, which is not a dance, but Kosenko still included this in the set. There are few cases of more than one etude of the same dance. For example, there are 2 gavottes, 2 minuets. Kosenko himself characterized this cycle as a family album, as he dedicated select etudes to his family members. For example, for today's presentation, I chose 5 etudes: 2 gavottes, sarabanda, minuet, passacaglia. The first gavotte, in D-flat major, is dedicated to his stepdaughter, Irina Kanep. The second gavotte to her sister, Raisa. Sarabanda dedicated to his brother, minuet to his mother, and passacaglia to his wife. In this slide, you can see all the etudes in the order. It starts with gavotte, alimanda, minuet, and so on. By looking at the order, we can see right away here some similarities and differences with original Baroque suite. For example, the gavotte never starts the Baroque suite. Usually we expect to hear alimanda or prelude to be the first dance. However, the jig is the last dance, which is traditional way to finish the Baroque suite. Common for Baroque practice, Kosenko's bourrée appears after sarabanda. It is also common to have 2 gavottes and 2 minuets in Baroque suite. However, they usually follow one another, and here they are separated. Another thing we can see on this slide is the key signature. And the keys, like D-flat major or B-flat minor, are not typical for Baroque era that usually uses no more than 4 flats. I compared Kosenko's each etude to the original Baroque dance to see any similarities or differences in its form, harmonic language, rhythmic patterns, or the character of the piece. The first dance that I'm going to talk about is gavotte. There are certain things that we can find in this dance. For example, this dance is in cut time, uses simple rhythmic motifs. Gavotte dance usually has 4 measure phrases that begin and end in the middle of the bar. The tempi of different gavottes vary. At the beginning of the 18th century, some musicians thought that gavotte is a slow dance, and some thought that it's a fast dance. The characteristics of this dance also vary. Some thought that gavotte is a tender and slow dance, and some thought it's joyful and graceful. The form of this dance is standard binary form. Now I would like to show you Bach's gavotte from French Suite number 5. And I will play it for you a little bit. You can see here that it is in cut time and starts in the middle of the measure and has simple rhythmic motifs. On your handout, I included some of Kosenko's gavotte's characteristics. Both of them are in 4/4, has simple rhythmic motives. Both gavots start in the middle of the measure. However, Kosenko's gavots are more complex. Brahms was a main influence on Kosenko, and I would like to show you Brahms Intermezzo, Opus 118, number 2. You can see here that the writing is very melodic and expressive. The texture involves inner voicing, expressive left hand, thick harmonies. And now I would like to play for you two gavots by Kosenko. And similar to Brahms, it combines lyricism with technical challenges. I will take this out of your way. the second gavot.